3 seconds behind.
No. Oh, now I see why Robert lost his teeth.
What do you guys think about Khamzat and Strickland?
Well, let me tell you.
This comes down to Strickland's motivation.
Well, I mean, you got to be fucking motivated.
I was getting ready
How
to
many
say
more
you
shots
better
is he going to
fucking
get?
be
Yeah,
but I mean,
he's worked with him before. I mean, I know they say that Khamzat submitted him, but if you hear Strickland talk about it, they were doing like
back
positional
take
rounds
drills.
when you're starting on the
started
back.
on his back.
I mean, come on. But I think when they moved around, I think he feels pretty confident with it. He's a hard guy to keep down, Sean.
Yeah.
And
cardio is going to be on point.
Who made Khamzat look human? Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman. I mean, they made him look human. You know, and Drakus. Again, not you don't want to see that rematch, but
take the fifth round.
But in that fifth round, he did get into some decent positions. He just got reversed right away. I mean, Sean, if there's any bit of blood in the water, he's fucking a finisher. You know what I mean? He'll stay on him if he's hurt at all. He's durable. I mean, and everybody's saying how underrated his grappling is. The guys that are working with him. So I mean, that's
all I've heard too. And he's so hard to hit, man. He's got a weird style. It's very weird. Right. It fucks you up, and he's really good at moving back away from shots.
He's circling out while the hands are in your face, too.
It's weird.
He also throws, like, looping shots on purpose sometimes. Like, you would think it's bad technique, but he's, like, finding a way around your guard.
Yeah.
And he's catching you with weird stuff. And his fucking jab is on point. That fluffy fight.
Were you calling that one?
No.
I was there for that. And you could hear it. Like, you don't always hear that.
Yeah, he was
you could hear the thud in his jab when Fluffy was blocking him.
As the hype keeps rising for fight night, the energy feels wild already. Khamzat is not just grinding and training, he's shaping himself into something darker, something cold and dangerous, like he flipped a switch and left the old version behind. Standing across from him is Sean Strickland, a guy known for non-stop pressure and speaking his mind with zero filter when it's time to throw down. Experts are split and going back and forth, but one thing everybody agrees on is simple. When these two finally collide, it's going to explode with chaos and action.
Every now and then we'll talk about it. Looks like the preparations have been going extremely well for Khamzat. And I see some of the videos online from Santos Studio and these people that are posting. So I'm very excited to see this fight. I personally don't see anybody beating Khamzat just because of the way he just dominates, and if he needs to resort to just wrestling, he does that, and if he feels like he can strike, you know, he'll be comfortable striking as well. So I'm excited to see it. It really is one of those up in the air what's going to happen. I don't know. With their training, they're claiming both. Sean is claiming that he used to beat Khamzat's ass. Khamzat's laughing at all of that and saying, yeah, that's not what happened. So I don't think that's what happened because I don't see anybody beating Khamzat's ass in the gym. But yeah, let's all prepare well and see what they bring for us, because I think it's going to be a...
With UFC 328 getting closer by the week, Michael Bisping is locking in on what might be one of the most talked about fights on the entire card, Chimaev's title clash against Strickland. This matchup is not just about skills in the cage, it's packed with tension that's been building up outside of it too. Bisping points out that this fight grabs attention for more than just technique and game plans. There's already serious drama brewing, mainly because of the way Chimaev moves, unpredictable, intense, and hard to read at any moment. On the other side, Strickland keeps poking at him non-stop, throwing words and pressure from every angle, making things even more heated every single day.
Alright, so UFC 328 is just around the corner, just a few weeks or a couple of weeks away now. Khamzat Chimaev defending the belt for the first time against Sean Strickland, and let me tell you, this is a very, very interesting matchup for Khamzat Chimaev and for Sean Strickland, and certainly the lead up to this one, right? They're both talking a lot of stuff like they always do. Khamzat Chimaev is a dangerous man inside the octagon, and he's a dangerous man outside of the octagon. He's not someone that you would want to trifle with, okay? He's bunch of Chechens. I see him all the time down at the Santos Studios. They're very serious players, and they drive some very, very fancy cars. We're talking Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces. They are rolling around in the finest automobiles, okay? But on the flip side, you got Sean Strickland probably in a little Toyota or whatever, down in Newport Beach, chatting shit, talking shit, saying, hey, you said if you see me, it's on site. You said that on the street, if I die, I die. Well, here I am in Newport Beach, and you never showed up. So Strickland's talking a bit of shit.
In his breakdown, Bisping makes it clear he expects Chimaev to land those takedowns without much trouble. Thanks to his elite wrestling background, that part almost feels guaranteed. But the real question he raises is way more interesting. Can Strickland actually be controlled once the fight hits the ground, or is that where things get messy? According to Bisping, Strickland's ground game is a lot more dangerous than people give it credit for. It's creative, a bit unorthodox, and backed by growing confidence after stacking up some key wins. He doesn't move like a typical fighter down there, which can throw opponents off in a big way, but this isn't only about skill, it's about mindset too. Bisping points out that Strickland doesn't rely on flashy mind games or intimidation tricks. Instead, he steps in fully accountable, owning every second in the octagon like it's all on him, no excuses, no distractions.
And Sean, I don't think Sean, when he gets taken down, will be held down. I don't think he's going to be that easy for Khamzat to take down. I do think he will get him down because Khamzat's wrestling is next level. But as I said, the jiu-jitsu of Sean Strickland is very, very tricky. It's creative. He believes in himself. He's got his mojo back after beating Fluffy Hernandez. He's been at the top of the game for a long time. He's beat people like Nazardine Imavov. That's not an easy thing to do. Put a beat down on Abus Magomedov. And coming into this one, he's like, bro, you want to go out there and talk all of this shit and make out like you're going to threaten me and come to my house and kill me? That's fine. I'll see you in the octagon, okay? Sean Strickland doesn't walk around with a massive entourage. He doesn't, and I respect that.
Bisping doesn't sugarcoat anything when it comes to Strickland. He straight up calls him the poster child of overachievement in a division packed with elite talent, which says a lot about how he views his run. He points out that Strickland isn't the most gifted athlete physically, not the fastest, and definitely not the hardest hitter in the mix, but what he lacks in raw attributes, he makes up for in ways that hit even harder. His mindset, his grind, and his insane endurance push him to another level. According to Bisping, those traits deserve serious respect, because they've allowed Strickland to keep pushing forward and winning against some dangerous opponents. It's that relentless drive and refusal to break that keeps him right in the middle of the chaos.
Sean Strickland, that's a complicated one. I could go on all day. I used to train with Sean a lot. Overachiever. I didn't think he'd be in this position that he is now. Wow. He became champion of the world. I didn't think he'd beat Israel Adesanya. I did not think, I thought it would be a problematic matchup for Fluffy, and I wasn't looking at it like that because I was commentating. Mm-hmm. That one never surprised me. But beating him the way that he did, and then now being in a position to fight Khamzat Chimaev, as I say, I think he's an overachiever in a lot of ways. He's not the biggest athlete, he's not the fastest, the strongest, all the rest of it, but he's got a rock solid mind. He's got a crazy gas tank. He works his ass off, spars all the time, and that's the best way to train for a fight if you can not get injured. So I think that's a compliment. It's not an insult.
I like where you're going with that.
He's one of the biggest overachievers.
On the flip side, Arman Sarukian brings a whole new angle to the tension building around Strickland. He pushes back hard on the idea that this rivalry would ever spill outside the sport, even if Strickland seems to want that kind of chaos. In his view, real issues in MMA are meant to be settled one way, inside the cage, not out on the streets. He also suggests that Strickland's energy might look very different in an environment with stricter cultural expectations. From where he stands, all the talk, the threats, and the heated moments are just part of the promotion, part of the build-up that gets people watching. But at the end of the day, he makes it clear, none of that noise actually matters unless it's backed up when the cage door closes. That's where everything gets decided, and there's no hiding once it's fight time.
Шон Стрикленд вот сегодня, кстати, выложил сторис-фотки с Ньюпорт-Бич. И потом видео выложил. Сзади у него автоматы, пистолеты были. Да. И он такой, типа, я был в Ньюпорт-Бич, в 10 минутах от дома, меня даже никто не встретил. Ну, такой, знаешь, типа. Про что? Да. Ну, смешно было, что у него сзади автоматы и пистолеты. Ну, а кто его встретил? Да, кому он и нужен. Нет такого? Да, вообще. Точно не нужен. В бою определиться, кто сильнее, и все. И на этом закроется точка. Если бы хотели бы решить по-уличному, давно бы уже решили. Стоит задача только в спортивном плане, потому что с такими людьми, как он, на улице не решаются вопросы. Если бы он был бы где-то в России, и понимал бы наши понятия, наши обычаи, он бы такого не делал. Хайпует,
раскручивать бой, пускай делает свою работу.
Нам бы в плюс, да?
Нам это все в плюс. Что бы он ни говорил, все в плюс. Конечно, перебарщивает, иногда он перебарщивает, но за счет этого он не дерется за титул.
Adding to the mix, Demetrius Johnson sounds fully convinced that Chimaev is going to take over right from the opening seconds. He sees him stepping in, setting the pace early, and putting Strickland under serious pressure from the jump. His prediction comes from how consistent Chimaev is with his workouts, his strict discipline, and how smoothly he blends all his skills together. Johnson believes that nonstop pressure and a fast pace will eventually push Strickland into a breaking point. From his point of view, this doesn't turn into some long, drawn-out war. Instead, he sees Chimaev creating the perfect opening late in the fight and shutting it down with a knockout in those final moments, rather than letting it drag into a brutal back-and-forth battle.
And my predictions for this fight against Khamzat Chimaev taking on Sean Strickland is I think it's going to be absolute domination. Khamzat's got a great team around him. He's doing the drilling, he's doing the sparring, he's not skipping anything. He's making sure he's going to leave no stone unturned. So for me, I have Khamzat Chimaev. I think he probably finishes him in the 4th round.
Then, Demetrius goes deeper into what really makes Chimaev such a complete fighter. He explains that this level of dominance didn't just happen overnight. It's the result of years of steady, focused development across every part of MMA. He points out that Chimaev didn't lock in on just one strength. Instead, he's been leveling up his boxing, wrestling, and grappling all at the same time under the same coaching system for years, which helped everything click together smoothly. In his view, that kind of long-term consistency is exactly why Chimaev looks so calm, so sharp, and so well-rounded heading into high-level fights like this. It's not rushed, it's built piece by piece, and now it's showing in a big way when the pressure is highest.
So what are you going to be running today for Khamzat? Because last night we saw you guys go to war.
Not running it.
What are you trying to accomplish on him? A double leg, a single leg?
Nothing.
Okay.
You know, the one thing that makes Khamzat so well is that he's been training for a long time, not just in like boxing, but also like jiu-jitsu, the wrestling. I think he said he did a little judo, I'm not sure, but he's been with the same coach for a very long time.
Yeah.
And he's well-rounded. So yeah, so today we are joining Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling and grappling practice. So it's going to be whatever Khamzat wants to do. The one thing that I love about like when I'm watching Khamzat, you know, from the outside we don't know who is the orchestra behind all this stuff. We see that his coaches are here. They're going to monitor him, see how he's doing, see what they want him to work on, and then go that route. So I'm excited to see what he works on.
Meanwhile, Eric Nixick breaks down just how tricky it is to prepare Strickland for a high-pressure clash against someone like Chimaev. From his point of view, the whole challenge comes down to finding the right balance under intense conditions. He explains that Strickland isn't the kind of fighter who gets backed up or shaken. Instead, he walks straight into pressure and meets it head-on, which makes any standard game plan way harder to execute because he's not reacting. He's pushing forward no matter what. From a coaching angle, that's where things get complicated. The real task is controlling that fearless, forward-moving style without letting it spiral into pure chaos or a reckless brawl, because if it turns into a wild exchange too early, both fighters could gas out fast, and that takes away from what actually makes them dangerous in the first place.
As a coach, how difficult is it to kind of keep him to sticking to a game plan, but at the same time letting him be himself? Because one of the things that when we break this down outside looking in, that we feel like maybe might give Khamzat a little bit of trouble is the fact that Sean just doesn't seem to be intimidated in one bit. And I think when, not that Khamzat's a bully, but when you're a bully-esque type fighter, that's kind of scary when somebody's not afraid of you and they're willing to come forward, but at the same time, I know you have to have a game plan. Can you talk about that, balancing those two?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, man. It's one of those guys situation with Sean where he's going to meet you in the middle, right? He's not going to back down. He's not going to be timid. But we also have to understand how to manage that type of energy. You don't want to go out there and turn this into a bar fight and both guys are dead tired by the end of the second round or something like that. So minimizing risk, but also allowing your guy to do what he does really well, and that's put pressure on people. but doing it smartly. You know, you don't want to overthrow, you don't want to be keeping yourself off balance, because that's where Khamzat does a very good job.
On top of that, Kamaru Usman steps in with his take on the build-up to this clash, and he sounds seriously impressed with how things are lining up for Chimaev. From what he's seeing, everything about this camp looks sharp and locked in. He points out that the preparation coming out of Chimaev's side reflects a fighter operating at a very high level right now. The timing, the focus, the intensity, it all suggests someone who's ready to perform when it matters most. In his view, Chimaev's biggest weapon is his versatility. He can lean hard on his wrestling whenever he wants, then instantly switch into striking without missing a beat, which makes game planning against him a real problem. He also touches on all the talk about past sparring stories between both sides, but he brushes it off as nothing more than typical pre-fight noise, making it clear that none of that talk means anything until they step inside the cage and settle it for real.
Every now and then we'll talk about it. Looks like the preparations have been going extremely well for Khamzat, and I see some of the videos online from Santos Studio and these people that are posting. So I'm very excited to see this fight. I personally don't see anybody beating Khamzat just because of the way he just dominates, and if he needs to resort to just wrestling, he does that, and if he feels like he can strike, you know, he'll be comfortable striking as well. So I'm excited to see it. It really is one of those up in the air, what's going to happen. I don't know. With their training, they're claiming, both Sean is claiming that he used to beat Khamzat's ass. Khamzat's laughing at all of that and saying, yeah, that's not what happened. So I don't think that's what happened, because I don't see anybody beating Khamzat's ass in the gym. But yeah, let's all prepare well and see what they bring for us, because I think it's going to be a...
Chris Lieben also weighs in on the middleweight title clash between Chimaev and Strickland, adding his own angle to the conversation. Even though he keeps things controlled because of his role as a judge, you can still tell this matchup has his full attention. He brings up the fact that he's trained with Strickland before, giving him some real inside perspective. And from what he's seen, Strickland has this pattern of shocking people and pulling off wins when everyone starts doubting him. Still, Lieben zooms out to the bigger picture. He makes it clear he's hoping this fight brings way more excitement than some of the recent title bouts, and he truly believes it will. With these styles colliding and everything on the line, he expects something intense that actually delivers when the moment hits.
It's going to be Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland for that middleweight title.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, as a judge, I have to somewhat remain unbiased, but I will say I've trained with I've trained with Strickland. You know, I love watching him fight. He seems to pull off the upset. You know, he seems to have done that several times. And you know what? I just hope that the fight is more exciting than the last world title fight. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And I think that's a for sure thing. A for sure thing. This fight will be better than the last world title fight.
Aaron Pico jumps in with a more technical breakdown of Chimaev's grappling, and his insight hits different. He explains that even without going full intensity in training, the strength and control are obvious right away. You can feel it instantly. He says Chimaev's ability to control positions using his lower body really stands out. It's almost like he's running the whole exchange without needing to rely on constant upper body force, which makes it feel smooth but still overpowering at the same time. What impressed Pico the most, though, is the level of detail in everything Chimaev does. He understands grip fighting, timing, and small positional changes at such a high level. He always seems to know exactly when to shift, when to attack, and when to lock things down completely. For Pico, it's that dangerous mix of raw strength and sharp grappling IQ that turns Chimaev into a serious problem on the mat. Heading into a high-level fight like this, that combination makes him incredibly tough to figure out.
When you're mixing it up with Khamzat in the grappling, right, what impresses you the most about the way that he grapples?
Well, I've never grappled with him. Usually, most of the time, I just do conditioning with him. But when he was showing me some moves before the fight and stuff, it's just how strong he is, but just his positioning. I mean, he can control you like with his legs and just not even use his arms, and just his lower body's just so strong. And just his level of detail with grip. So, okay, when do I bring my grip high? When do I bring it low? When do I trip the leg? And just his knowledge and detail was pretty impressive. And I was working on it a lot. trying to do the best I can and just holding guys down, because my wrestling is very good. And that's one thing I really want to put emphasis on, is holding guys down and just doing damage. But those guys are just...
Then Beneil Dariush paints a picture of Chimaev's preparation that sounds almost relentless. He describes conditioning that's hitting another level, where training sessions feel more like full-on wars instead of a normal fight camp. He suggests the pace behind the scenes is brutal, closer to 6 or 7 rounds of non-stop pressure, constantly pushing limits and rebuilding endurance at the same time. It's not just about getting through rounds, it's about dominating them with no drop in intensity. In his view, that kind of grind is exactly what makes Chimaev so dangerous in the later stages of a fight. He's not just preparing to compete, he's preparing to overwhelm and keep that pressure going for as long as it takes. So now it comes down to the big question: does Chimaev's pressure and pace break through everything in front of him, or does Strickland's toughness and awkward, hard-to-read style flip the entire fight when it matters most? Drop your prediction in the comments, and make sure you subscribe for more fight breakdowns and updates as we get closer to fight night.